You're listening to One Piece of Advice, brought to you by EEleaders.com, a ministry to encourage and equip church leaders.
Hey, it's Ben Courson again, sharing a proverb with you that I love so much. The book of Proverbs declares, "Where no oxen are, the trough is clean, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox." Now that's kind of a funny proverb. Here's what Solomon's saying. Imagine if I took you to my barn, hypothetically assuming I had one, and I said, look at how clean the floor is. It's so spotless, so pristine, you could eat a pancake off the floor. You'd say, well, Ben, that's great that you have a clean barn. How did you manage it? And I would say, well, I have no cows, I have no chickens, I have no livestock, I have no bullocks, I have no animals. You'd say, Ben, what's the point of having a pristine barn if it has no produce? And that's what Solomon's saying. If you brag that you have a clean barn, what's the point if there's no produce? In the same way, I would rather have a messy, pigsty productive life than a pristine, problem-free, pointless life. Sometimes we think the teleologic purpose of our lives is to keep our lives clean, to never take any risks. But the truth is, every failure and mess you learn from is a step toward the victory, because God turns massive messes into messages for the masses. And the Bible teaches that even though we might fail, God's love never fails, and that's what counts. So don't be afraid to take some risks. Did you know that the #1 leading strikeout hitter in Major League Baseball history is Reggie Jackson? He's a 4-time American League home run champion, 5-time World Series champion, 14-time All-Star selection, MVP winner, and a Hall of Famer, but he's also the #1 leading strikeout hitter of all time. That's why I like Reggie Jackson. Others could brag I didn't strike out as many times as Reggie Jackson, but we also can't brag that we hit a home run over Fenway fence. In the same way, some of the greatest victors in history were also the greatest failures. Dr. Seuss, his first book, rejected by 27 different publishers. Winston Churchill failed 6th grade, lost every public office role he ran for, and didn't become prime minister until he was in his 60s. Fred Astaire, the greatest dancer in America's history, during his first screen test, the judges said, can't sing, can't act, can dance a little, is slightly bald. Again, you see that Einstein didn't learn to talk until he was 4, didn't learn to write until he was 7. Thomas Edison was told by his school teachers he was too stupid to learn anything. Abraham Lincoln lost an embarrassing 8 elections, couldn't get into law school, failed at business twice, and had a nervous breakdown before he became our 16th president. Harrison Ford, after his first small movie role, was taken into an executive's office, and he was told he would never make it in the movie business. Tell that to Chewbacca. Vincent van Gogh sold only 1 painting in his entire life, The Red Vineyard, and that was only months before he died. No wonder he chopped off his ear. And Walt Disney was fired by a newspaper editor because he, quote unquote, lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Beethoven was also told by his music teacher he was a hopeless composer. The same is true in the Bible. Peter denied Jesus 3 times when a little girl peer pressures him. David, he actually killed somebody. Noah got drunk. Jonah went 2,500 miles in the opposite direction of where God called him to go. And Paul tried to kill Christians. So what I'm trying to tell you is, we might fail, but God's love never fails. Don't be afraid to take some risks. You might have a messy barn, but at least you're going to have some produce. You might have sunk, but at least you walked on water. Because it ain't about how high you climb, it's about how high you bounce back when you hit the bottom.